The news on CBS 2.
Right there in Alabama, little black boys and black
Decades after his death, America still remembers the dream of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Tomorrow would have been Dr. King's 76th birthday.
In honor of his memory, Chicago's Field Museum is hosting a special program this weekend that will again bring his famous I Have a Dream speech to life. CBS 2's Vince Girasoli takes a look at a loving tribute.
Little black boys and black girls will be able to join hands with little white boys and white girls as sisters and brothers. I have a dream today.
More than 40 years later, the most famous words of one of freedom's most famous fighters live on.
Every valley shall be exalted.
I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out its true meaning of its creed.
With this faith, we will be able to transform the jangling discords of our nation into a beautiful symphony of brotherhood.
With this faith, we'll be able to work together, to pray together, to struggle together, to go to jail together, to stand up for freedom together.
It's self-evident that all men are created equal. I have a dream that one day, even the state of...
At the Field Museum this weekend, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s words will be brought to life.
This will be the day when all of God's children will be able to sing with new meaning, my country, tears of thee.
For another generation to take in and ponder.
With this faith, we will be able to you out of the mountain of despair, a stone of hope.
You know that these words had an impact not only on America, but on the entire world.
It was one of the stirring moments in American history, and ultimately, because of his death, one of the tragic moments of American history.
His dream is kind of dead because nobody's really trying to fulfill it. Yes, I'm hopeful. Maybe one day things will change.
Free at last! Free at last! Thank God Almighty, we're free at last!
Actor KEVIN MCILVAINE sure does sound like Dr. King, and the choir of Chicago's Metropolitan Apostolic Church provides enough dramatic harmony to give you some chills. You can see Remembering the Dream at Chicago's Field Museum at 11 and 2 each day from tomorrow through Monday. And for more information, we have a link on our website, so just log on to cbs2chicago.com to find out more about the performances.
And thank you, Vince. We just want to correct something. We had said that Dr. King's birthday was actually tomorrow. It's not. It's Saturday.
And
so we'll
that speech gives you chills no matter how many times you hear it, no matter how many times you see it performed.
It certainly does.
You're watching WGN Morning News at 8.
Hey, you guys. It's one of the most famous speeches in American history. And for more than 40 years later, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s words are still a source of inspiration.
I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed.
KEVIN MCILVAINE is here to tell us about a special tribute to Dr. King that's going on this weekend. KEVIN, how are you? Great to see you.
I'm fine, Paul. Thanks for having me.
So you guys have a big concert coming out this weekend? What's going on?
Yes, we're going to be at the Field Museum for the celebration of Dr. King's birthday from Friday to Monday, 11 a.m. and 2 p.m. with the fabulous choir here.
Wonderful. Well, we want to hear you sing. Let's get right to it. Good to see you. Take it away.
Difficulties of today and tomorrow, I still have a dream. It is a dream deeply rooted in the American dream. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal. I have a dream that one day my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today. So let freedom ring from the prodigious hilltops of New Hampshire. Let freedom ring from the mighty mountains of New York. Let freedom ring from the heightening Alleghenies of Pennsylvania. Let freedom ring from the snow-capped Rockies of Colorado. Let freedom ring from the curvaceous slopes of California. But not only that, let freedom ring from Stone Mountain of Georgia. Let freedom ring from the Lookout Mountain of Tennessee. Let freedom ring from every hill and molehill of Mississippi, from every mountainside. Let freedom ring, and when this happens, when we allow freedom to ring, when we let it ring from every village and every hamlet, from every state and every city, we will be able to speed up that day when all of God's children, black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics, will be able to join hands and sing in the words of the old Negro spiritual. Free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, we're free at last.
And the man who's using his own voice to remind us of the messages of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. The news at 5 is next.
This is ABC 7 News, Chicago's #1 news, with Ron Majors, Cheryl Burton, weather with meteorologist Jerry Taft, and sports with Mark Giangreco. This is ABC 7 News at 5.
I have a dream that one day,
At the Field Museum today, Martin Luther King is remembered in a very accurate, sound-alike way. I'm Frank Matthew. This story later on.
of their character.
This weekend, we celebrate the life of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Throughout America, there will be ceremonies honoring his memory. And at the Field Museum, a man named KEVIN MCILVAINE will be bringing some of Dr. King's most famous speeches to life. ABC 7's Frank Matthew says it's almost like a trip back in time.
Chicago's Metropolitan Apostolic Church Choir provided the music, but it was the memory of Dr. Martin Luther King that provided the atmosphere.
I have a dream. My poor little children
will one day live in a nation where they would not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today.
I'm trying my best to try to keep that spirit alive, to try to sound as much like the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King as I possibly could, and to try to just bring that message alive today to the young people who haven't heard it.
For my eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord.
Chicagoan KEVIN MCILVAINE is an actor and impersonator. He does many different voices, but this is his favorite.
I wanted to be able to speak like this man. I wanted to be able to say something that may touch somebody.
I have a dream that one day
even the state of Mississippi, a state sweltering with the heat of injustice.
KEVIN MCILVAINE says he doesn't really imitate Dr. Martin Luther King. He actually feels it. He feels the power of those magnificent speeches.
I think not only the I Have a Dream speech, but the drum major instinct, his final speech before he was killed.
But it really doesn't matter with me now, because I've been to the mountaintop, and I don't mind, like anybody, I would like to live a long life, longevity.
MCILVAINE will perform at the Field Museum at 11 a.m. and 2 p.m. tomorrow, Sunday and Monday. Frank Matthew, ABC 7 News.
He's allowed me.
Those speeches always
Inspiring, yeah.
all the time.